Welcome back to Shedding Scales. So there's been quite a few things that have changed since the last time I did a longer video. I'm getting ready to do a feeding video here in a minute, and I thought maybe you guys want to see the fish that are in here and watch them eat some frozen bloodworms that I've already thawed out in the cup. I don't always do that, but for this time I figured I would. Maybe give you guys a little more, a little better action of the fish eating. Normally I don't do what I'm about to do, but this time I'm going to do it just for hopefully a better shot of the video. So I've got some new fish in here. I've taken some fish out. So there's just a few other little things, and then I'll show you some of the bigger things after I do the feeding. Okay. So first I'm going to turn off my canister filter. And I'm also going to power down the wave maker so that the food stays right here in the middle. Alright, so here we go. Alright, here we go. So I always just use the feeder tongs, kind of hold them in there for a second. So those little baby yo-yo loaches in there, well, I say babies, I guess you could call them juveniles. I had 2 of them originally, and now I believe I've got 10 of them in there the same size, and then of course there's a bigger one, and I imagine he'll come out to eat here in just a minute. So the amount of food that I have in here is 2 cubes. It doesn't seem to make very much, but these guys are pretty good eaters, so we'll see how much I can get them to eat. I kind of just take the cube, or take the worms in between the tongs and kind of try to spread them out a little bit. So far, just the babies have come out. So far, I see like 4 of them. And the red shoulder severum, or red spot severum, is currently inside of the battleship. And it may just be because he doesn't know that it's feed time. I'm not exactly sure how to entice him to get him to come out. Let me try this. Bear with me for a minute. He knows I'm feeding. He's looking at him, but he's not coming out. And the bigger yo-yo loach is actually under there with him right now inside the battleship. He can be really funny sometimes about feeding. Maybe if I just hold this here. Or I may even have to turn the wave maker back on. So you can see the big yo-yo loach now. He's right there in the middle. He's eating them bloodworms up. Probably here in a second he'll notice that they're hanging up top here, and he'll come up here and actually eat them right out of the tongs. Try to get the severum to come out. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but he's like, there he is. So he's coming out gradually. I don't know why he's funny about food sometimes. So you can actually see, oh, never mind, he already moved. He's in that second window right there. So let me turn this wave maker back on. You see the big yo-yo loach came back out. And the Severum's still in that little hole. I know you really can't tell on the... Oh, there he is. He came out. Let me get the food over there to him. Maybe I can come out pretty good for everybody. Actually, maybe if I just... I don't always turn the filter off, but I figured with frozen food like this, as you guys know, it's not the cheapest thing, so I don't want to get sucked up in the filter. It's just going to add to nitrates in the water column. This time I'm going to put it right in the flow so it goes all the way over there to the other side. Maybe he's just not that hungry right now, which is actually kind of surprising because a lot of times he comes out and eats quite a bit. Maybe he's just camera shy. And you can see that one, he got a good bite there. As you can tell, there's let's see if I can get you guys a little closer. So there's a little loach there. There's one on the other side of the ship, right there. And they like to hide down inside of there. As you can tell, there's a few of them swimming around. But yeah, like I said, there's like 10 of them in there now. There's the bumblebee catfish. And he's out now. He's looking for that food too. No. But anyway, well, while I'm at it, I might as well go ahead and do a feeding on the couple little guppies I got, and there's some loaches and there's a bumblebee catfish in there as well. Hang on just a sec. Alright, so this is that 20-gallon long. It currently only has the two little guppies in there. There's one right there. And there's another right there towards the bottom. And like I said, there's some loaches and coolie loaches, the black ones. And then there's either one or two of the bumblebee catfish in there. And they're not very big at all. So let me get this set up to do a little feeding. These guys normally eat pretty good too. So normally when I feed these guys, they eat what they want, and then the loaches come out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's one swimming. Right there at the bottom right-hand corner. You keep watching right there, you can see them, and there's there was 5 of them in there. Whether or not there still is 5, that's a good question. Sorry about the dog, if the dog's in your way, or dog sitting. He wants to say hi to. So, I am actually thinking about doing a beta sorority in the 20-gallon long. Of course, I know I'm only going to be able to do like 5. And then for this tank here, I'm looking at getting some larger yellow fish. So I'm thinking like golden grommies or some of the other ones I was just looking at the other day. I can't remember now. I looked at so many. But golden grommies was one of the main ones. And also the gold barbs. I seen they had some pretty good coloration, and to be honest with you, the reason why I'm even thinking about doing this, for one, we need some more action in here, obviously, because there's just not enough movement in here with as far as fish go. But our dog, Sasha, she actually sits right here on this arm and like plasters her face to the tank because there's an albino pleco in here somewhere. Not sure where he's hiding out right now. But she loves to watch him for some odd reason. I think if she could get in the tank with him and play with him, I think she would. She just seems really interested in it. But I have no idea where he's at currently. But let me show you some of the new stuff. So what I've done, here's one of the things here. So it's I got this off of Amazon. F-Zone glass filter pipe. So now I have the clear glass outlet here. Now I am going to put it on this side, probably up here in the front. But I've got to get some longer pipe because I had already cut, or not pipe, but hose. I had already cut the hose to fit that cutout right here in the back, which that's going to be, I guess, obsolete now. Either that, or maybe I can get I don't know, maybe a hang on the back filter or something for just some extra filtration. And then over here on this side, let me tilt this lid up, is the inlet. Now, as you can tell down there, there are the slots in the glass, and then there's a piece down there in the bottom where you can turn to get either minimum flow, maximum flow, or somewhere in between, wherever. It's fully adjustable. And then this thing in the top is also the inlet, which is a skimmer. So the water is, I don't know if you guys remember from some of my past videos, but I kept getting these films on top of the water. Well, this right here has pretty much eliminated that. So I'm very thankful for that. One thing I don't like about this, and it's not really a skimmer, like I said, it's just part of the inlet filtration, is let me turn it back on here so I can show you. Just hang out here just a second. Oh, hang on, I'm sorry. Alright, so you can see the amount of bubbles because I just turned it on. Now what I don't like about this, as you can tell, is it sucks bubbles, and which of course makes bubbles all in the tank. Now, that's probably not harmful to the tank, so that part I'm not worried about. But I know it's not supposed to do that. So what I've done before is just push it all the way down in there, and it pushes the bubbles out, but somehow or another they keep reoccurring. So if you guys know any way of making this so it doesn't do that, I would sure appreciate it. And if you notice too, I've got an extra heater back there. Because it's wintertime right now, I'm having a hard time keeping the water where it needs to be. And right now it's currently at 76 degrees. And then of course I've got the inline heater, which is also, well, it's set at 78. But anytime I do a water change, it normally takes a little while. Actually, on that note, so as you can tell too, I've did some rescaping since the last time. Now I only have half of the battleship in there, but I'll show you what happened. So out here on the deck, you can see right there is the other half of the battleship with that heater laying beside it and that bucket. Well, dummy me, I took there was a regular pleco in there and my big Siamese algae eater. Well, I took both of those guys out and put them in that bucket that I just showed you and set it right here on the floor. And I put that heater in there because I had to use the big heater and I stuck it down in that big hole right there in the middle of the lid to try to heat that water up a little bit, because the water actually went all the way down. I did about an 80% water change. Severin wants to say hi. And if you guys don't remember, his name is Rush, or her name. I'm not even sure yet what it is. But anyway, I took them out, put them in the bucket, and I used that big heater to put in the tank because when I did the water change, I did like 80%, like I said, and the water temperature actually got all the way down to like 64 degrees. So I was afraid the fish were going to go into shock. And actually I was going to rehome the Siamese algae eater and the regular pleco to somebody else, but I'll get to that in a second. And I even took Rush out because it was starting to swim on its side, and I was afraid that it might go into shock and not live. So I put him in the bucket as well with the other two fish. But I waited about an hour or so and let the water warm up to about 72 before I put him back in, and then he seemed to be fine, or she seemed to be fine. But anyway, so that big heater is rated for like, I think 150 gallons or more, and I left it inside of a 5-gallon bucket. Well, it wasn't until the next day, after sitting in the bucket all day, I was going to, like I said, rehome those two fish, and realized that the water had gotten not like scalding hot, but pretty warm. And of course, you know that smell that I'm going to talk about. Everybody knows that smell, that fish, fish keepers, everybody knows that smell, the smell of dead fish. Well, that's pretty much what had happened. It pretty much cooked both of those fish. I didn't get pictures or anything. I didn't get a video of anything of that, nor would I even want to share that. But I will tell you about it because it was my mistake for being foolish and not even thinking about it. But that water got pretty warm, and I don't know what the temperature was on it. I didn't even check. So I had to dispose of those two fish. But lesson learned, don't use that big heater in a 5-gallon bucket unless I turn it like all the way down, and then it might be able to handle it. I don't know, but I just prefer not to use it. So I think what I'm going to do is get me an extra little, like one of those preset heaters that Aqueon makes. I think it's like a 40 watt or something like that, if I remember correctly. They're just made for like 10 gallons, I think. And I'll probably just get one to use in a bucket whenever I do a water change and want to take fish out or whatever the case may be. So anyway, well, it's been 20 minutes. Apologize for keeping you guys so long. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you've liked what I've done so far. I'll keep you guys posted on new things that's going on. And I'm going to be getting some more plants and stuff here soon. That's another thing I've been looking at for this tank. Some background plants, foreground. Maybe not so much foreground, but definitely midground and background. But anyway, leave me a like if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to try to start doing more videos more often now. If there's any suggestions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And again, thanks for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.